Ek kyk en luister na die groot ontbyt en Wêreldbriefskryfdag is op die 1 September gevier en daarom kuier die Sielkundige Reabetsoe Buys vanoggend saam om oor die voordele en sielkundige impak wat fisiese skryf op mense het te gesels. So good morning Reabetsoe and thank you for joining us.
Morning. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Let's start with the psychological benefits of writing in today's modern world, despite all the technology around us.
So I think we're so used to technology now, which is very convenient and it works really well. You know, we can sort of just like send a text or a WhatsApp or a voice note, email, whenever we need to send a quick message to someone. But writing has actually proven to be psychologically beneficial. So it's something that we've done. When we're in school, we're taught to write because it actually helps with brain development. So it helps different areas of our brain to develop. And as we get older, even though we have all of this technology, it still remains beneficial. So, for example, writing has been proven to assist with a general sense of, well-being. When we write, it actually helps to relieve stress, and it also helps us to be creative. So it activates all of the creative areas in our brain as well. So it's beneficial in the sense that it is something that helps us to express things that are on our mind or our feelings, but it can also help just with regards to releasing stress by putting our thoughts and our feelings down on paper.
And I would like you to distinguish between writing and drawing as a therapeutic outlet.
So in therapy, we often ask clients to engage in writing. So we will encourage people to journal, for example. So if someone is going through something and they find themselves dealing with quite a lot of stress or anxiety, or we require them to process information outside of therapy, we will encourage them to write. So we'll ask them to get a journal and to just put pen to paper and to just write down anything that they're thinking or feeling. It helps people to identify their thought patterns. It helps people to figure out exactly how they feel about certain things. So with teens and adults as well, we would encourage writing. And then drawing helps in a similar way. So with younger kids, for example, who engage in play therapy, we get them to draw pictures about, things that they are going through, or when we ask kids to freely just draw whatever it is that they want, they tend to draw something that is quite expressive about something that's happening under the surface or something that they're going through. So not that adults can't draw, we do encourage adults to draw as well, but the writing and the drawing helps with regards to expressively putting down certain things that need to be processed either in or outside of therapy. But it's something that a lot of therapists do encourage and do ask people to do because it has been proven to help.
Interesting.
Reabetsoe, it's your name here, and it was quite interesting when I Google like just journaling and like 15 exercises to help you heal, grow, and thrive, writing to heal. And I think, do you think it's like tablets in schools? And I know everyone wants technology, but there's a big thing that's going to get lost. And even to force yourself then as an adult, because we also now addicted to our phones and voice notes, but the healing powers of something like a journal, do you focus on that a lot?
Yes, we do. So, as I said, while technology is great, and I know a lot of schools are incorporating tablets and mini laptops for kids, which is great because it's teaching kids also about how to use technology. However, the art of writing shouldn't be lost because, as I said, when we are typing on our phone or a laptop and when we're writing, it actually utilizes very different areas of our brain. When you sit and write, you actually have to think very carefully about what you want to write. Do you know what I mean? When I'm writing a message on my phone, I can easily delete it. I can replace words. I can change the way that it sounds very quickly without even thinking about it. But when you sit down and write, you have to really be mindful about what state am I in? What is it that I want to say? What words do I want to say? You're very careful about your handwriting because you want your handwriting to be legible. For example, if you're writing a letter to someone, you want your handwriting to be legible, or if you want to be able to read it later on, you're going to write in a way that's going to make it easy for you to understand what you're trying to say, how you're trying to say it, and of course, exactly what it is that you put down on paper in terms of you being able to read it. So it's very healing in that it forces used very loosely, but it forces you to be present. It forces you to be in the moment, because you have to really think about what you want to say and how you want to say it and how you feel about what you're saying as well. So it's healing in that sense. It's healing because it forces you to be in the moment and to really be mindful about where you're at that time.
Are they still selling Tipex? Because if I'm mad, there's words in that letter I just want to, I want to delete. No, joking. Sorry, Elsa. With mails and writing letters, and I'm joking about being mad or something that's disturbing to you. I've got a 24-hour rule, especially when I'm unhappy and I want to send someone a mail or a letter. And sometimes, the next morning you feel different and you realize, the moment you write something, you read it again, and then after that you press send. You know what I mean? And especially just on Twitter as well, it just shows you who you really are. Because, you must think about it. And I think even writing a mail first before just typing it, maybe will, wat beskerm jou? Will protect you from exposing yourself. You think that's maybe wise?
Definitely. So, a perfect example is when an author is writing a book, right? Or they're writing some kind of manuscript. A lot of people actually handwrite it first because it helps get your thoughts in order. It helps you to be able to think clearly about what you want to say or what you want to present. So I think that's a great idea, to be able to express yourself, like say what you need to say, and then you have an opportunity to actually rethink it, and to think about the most appropriate way of putting something across. So I think with things like Twitter and social media, like you said, it's so quick to just type something when you're angry or when you're in the moment. And we've heard a lot of stories of people that get into trouble for things that they put on social media. But when you do write, I think it gives you that opportunity to, first of all, you can do it in an expressive way, to put down everything that you want to put down on paper, and then, think about what it is that you want to say later on. Or it allows you to actually sit back and think about the state that you're in and whether you want to really say what it is that you want to say. That being said, though, what we do in therapy as well is, for example, if someone has had a disagreement with someone that they love, or they have an issue with someone in their personal life, we also encourage them, write a letter to that person and say whatever you want to say. Don't send it, but say whatever it is that you want to say. Express yourself in terms of what you think and, what's happened, everything that is inside of you that you want that person to understand. Do that first, and then from that point we'll be able to manage, how you feel afterwards. And a lot of people will say, because I had an opportunity to, because we'll say write a letter as if you're going to give it to the person. They'll say that they had an opportunity to really express everything that they never got a chance to, but then now that they've been able to do that, they can think about a different way to approach that person, or to deal with the issue, or to deal with the relationship. So it definitely helps in that way.
Ons gaan voort met vanoggend se gesprek na aanleiding van die feit dat dit Wêreldbriefskryfdag op die 1 September was, en ons gesels vanoggend met die Sielkundige Reabetsoe Buys wat oor die voordele en sielkundige impak wat fisiese skryf op mense het gesels. So thanks again for joining us, Reabetsoe.
Thank you.
We've referred to schools a little bit earlier, and I would like to refer to illiteracy. It's a big challenge. So what do you think is the solution?
With regards to illiteracy, I think, there are a lot more kids that do struggle with it than we probably think or know about. But I think, engaging in simple behaviors that can help the child develop those skills in the home. So, for example, helping children with regards to reading, something as simple as reading to a child, can really help them in terms of starting to think about language, and then also assisting them with practicing. So when it comes to writing, and I think a lot of children now probably function so much better on tablets, because they can just, type things in or search. There's a lot of images, there's a lot of guiding clues there that children use very easily. But it really is important for us to just get back to basics and sit down with kids and encourage them to actually write. I know schools also end up encouraging handwriting as well. That's what they have to do in school. They get to a point where they also have to learn cursive writing from what I understand. So that is still something that they need to do. So in terms of what parents can do or what we can do in our own homes is to literally start off with those basics and helping our children to master them, because they are beneficial in the long run. They help with motor skills, they help with language, as I've said. So it's really important for us to be able to do those simple things for a couple of minutes a day can really go a long way with regards to the development of that and overcoming struggles and challenges in reading and writing.
Reabetsoe, how would you describe the emotive impact of receiving a physically handwritten letter versus an email or text message?
So, I don't know about you, but I think if I received a handwritten letter, I would be thrilled. I would be so happy that someone actually took the time to sit down and think about me and, get some pretty paper or, use colored pens to actually sit down and write to me. It takes effort now. It's so easy to send an email to a relative that's overseas. It's very convenient, but it's very quick and I can write it, really quickly. But I think the emotive impact is just having that confirmation that someone was thinking about you. They put in all that effort to write to you. And if I receive a handwritten letter, I'm definitely going to keep it, and I'm definitely going to go back to it and read it again. It becomes a sentimental piece to me. It becomes very valuable. Whereas, an email can sort of sit in your inbox, and am I really going to go back and read it? I probably will, if it's really important or if there's information there that I need to sort of recap on. But it's very easy to just get lost, in an inbox, whereas a letter evokes a lot of positive emotions for the person receiving it, because you feel like, wow, this person, really cares about me, and it reinforces, those relationships. But also for the writer, like I said earlier on, it gives you a moment to sit and to think and to put something down onto paper, even if you have to go through the effort of going to Postnet and making sure that it gets to the person. It's actually a positive experience. It's a good experience to actually go through. It's not something that we do every day. So it's actually good and positive for both people, both the writer and the receiver.
And how would you describe the role of the different generations regarding this matter?
So I was actually, because of World Letter Writing Day, I was actually speaking to my grandmother about it, because she used to write me letters when I was a child, and she still writes, she still has little bits of paper all over her house where she writes different things. And, I just see how she put so much time, into sitting and thinking about what she wants to write. And she's got a beautiful handwriting. She's 92, but she writes so beautifully. And I think, older generations really understand the impact of handwriting. It was the only method of communication that they had in some instances. So it's something that's very valuable. And it was a tradition. It was something that they used to do all the time. They used to write to their friends and relatives who were far away. I know my granny used to write my grandfather letters, when she would go away and he would be left alone. So I think older generations really value that tradition, because it's something that they did that kept so much together and kept so much connected. Whereas I think we don't have to write, so we end up choosing more efficient ways of communicating, which is great. But I don't think we should lose that. I think it's a tradition that we should definitely still honor every now and then.
Absolutely.
And teach our kids to actually do it as well. We can get our kids to write letters to their cousins or to a pen pal overseas. It's really something that's worth keeping alive, because it is so beneficial.
I agree. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Dit was dan die Sielkundige Reabetsoe Buys wat vanoggend met ons gesels het. En Jonna, jy het mos 'n penvriend nie waar nie?
Ja, ek het 'n penvriend. Maar nee, nie meer nie. Maar wat my interessant is, ons gaan nou vinnig kyk en 'n bietjie terugvoer, maar ek steel so lank een wat sê, Haile Labeskagni sê toe haar man in die weermag was, het sy laas in 1977 vir hom briewe geskryf, maar dis nou presies dit. Ons almal het, jy weet, daai era voor hierdie goed. Ek het nou dag ek het so 'n kus wat ek het net een kus wat ek nou my sentimentele goedjies los. Jy weet, maar daar's nou briewe wat ek nou geskryf het en dan sê net maar 'n brief wat ek nou van heeltemal vergeet het, wat my pa geskryf het. Jy weet, en as daar so 'n sin wat hy iets in gesê het, besef het ek gaan daai raam vir eendag, maar ek dink dis wat mense vergeet. 'n Brief is iets wat ongelooflik vir iemand iets kan beteken, 15 jaar en al is hulle oorlede of nie.
Die ding is, ek dink jy's in verskillende fases van jou lewe ook, so sekere goed wat dalk 20 jaar terug vasgevang was, soos byvoorbeeld in so 'n brief van jou pa na Jorney, het op daai tyd 'n sekere impak in jou lewe gehad, maar ewe skielik is daar 'n sin of 'n woord of iets wat gesê is wat vandag ewe skielik 'n ander betekenis vir jou het. Net soos as 'n mens 'n boek of 'n ding lees, sekere goed snap jy nie dadelik nie of jou oog vang dit nie, maar ewe skielik as gevolg van die seisoen waarin jy is, het dit vir jou ander betekenis. So dit is nogals die moeite werd om soms weer daarna te kyk.